microphone, but there's only one,
10.
so...
5, 4,
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, we'll find a friend to care.
We are that friend who cares. That cares. We're a friend, and we care. So, I am Louise Palenker, your lovely and captivating host, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. We have Sam, Ryan, Montana, Nico. We've got Dylan. And our special guests in the studio. Did I leave out any kids? Oh, Jake's here, of course, in the studio. And we have special guest YouTubers. We have Emily and Samantha.
Yeah.
And so, by way of full disclosure, I am friends with your mother, Vicky. Emily, I don't know your mother. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. I would love to make her acquaintance one day soon. How did you guys decide to become YouTubers? A, it's a two-parter. And B, how did you decide to become YouTubers together?
We both have been watching YouTubers for a really long time. It's something we've always kind of been interested in. And we both wanted to start a channel, and we were afraid to kind of do it on our own. And we weren't sure how to share it with our friends, but we thought maybe if we did it together, it would be something, we'd have someone there for us, and it would be fun, since we're really good friends, to kind of do that together and have that experience.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to put yourself out there and be on the camera and just do that when you have someone else there with you. It just makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun because you have company and you don't feel so as alone and vulnerable.
So how did you go about designing the look of your channel and what your channel was going to be about?
Who did that?
We kind of just talked about, we just wanted to do videos that we like to watch in other YouTubers and the ones that seem to capture people's attention the most, and that's sort of what we aim for with our channel. We don't have a specific theme that goes along with our videos. We do a lot of tags and challenges that are popular, but we try and kind of vary the content so that we're touching upon things that many people will like rather than just one group of people. And as far as the design of our channel, I just kind of went on a website one day and just typed up Legally Blondes, and we put together little pictures and things and that's kind of how that happened.
So I was watching some of your YouTubes, and I especially enjoy the yoga poses.
That was great.
And I thought, what a great idea, and how brave. Were there any injuries?
No.
So what happened was they would show a yoga pose, and they would try or attempt to reenact it. And they're harder than they look. Actually, they do look kind of hard. So you guys made it really fun and funny. Anyone on the panel have any questions for these two? Nico?
I was wondering if you had any real YouTubers that inspired you. I got kind of a Swoozy vibe when I went on your channel, if you've ever seen him. And if you have any specific YouTubers that you really liked.
We have a lot of them. Some of our favorites are Connor Franta, Alfie Days, Pointless Vlog, Marcus Butler. Just a lot of the people who do daily vlogs that are fun and just kind of ones that a lot of people can relate to. And yeah, so those were a lot of the daily vloggers were more of our inspirations.
And what do you do in order to put yourselves on a schedule? And because I think one of the tips to becoming a successful YouTuber is consistency, so that your audience knows what to expect and when to expect it, and and you kind of train them to sort of look forward to. How do you guys keep yourselves on a schedule?
We post videos every Sunday, so we try and film at least one video per week. Sometimes we film more so that we don't have to film every week and we have plenty to edit and plenty of time to do it. We edit the videos ourselves. We take turns editing each video. So we try and film in the middle of the week, but there have been times where we film on Saturday and spend all night editing and post it on Sunday.
What program do you edit in?
Well, so far we've been using iMovie. But we're looking into Final Cut. We're going to try learning that soon.
I highly recommend it. Final Cut 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hello, who's on the phone? Thank you for calling our place.
Hello.
Oh, it's Mrs. Jordan Christopher. So, how are you? We have a big room full of people here tonight. Would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hello.
Did you have a question, a comment for our YouTubers, or anything about YouTube that you'd like to add?
I had a question for you.
Oh, okay.
You know, we need a Facebook page for all the celebrities you bring in.
What we do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ourplacenetwork. But do you
Oh,
need,
I know about that one.
so what do you recommend? What do I need to do?
No, for the celebrities that come on.
We give them their own Facebook page? How does it work?
Mom, let's go this way.
Pardon me?
Sorry, trying to get my mom out of Rockefeller Center.
Oh, okay, that's kind of tricky. Yeah. So how would it work? What kind of Facebook page do I need, and how do I do it? What do I do?
Just of the people who have come on as guest stars, little celebrities that y'all had,
Mm-hmm.
having them on there and kind of tracking what they're doing, and also posting things like when people are coming. Just
Do you want to help me with that?
I could.
All right. Well, so it would be like a Facebook page or a Facebook group, or what would it be?
Good question.
Maybe like a page that posts updates like, oh, here's what this person who was on our show once is up to now, and you can check them out here.
Oh,
But it's
yeah,
just
so you
one
could
page for
track
all of them.
Simon and everybody that's been on the show who's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good job for Jolene. She doesn't have enough to do. She's only like in a different country like every other week, so I think when she's home, she can definitely. But I think it's an excellent idea. We just keep up with, we keep like an alumni of people that have been on Our Place Out Loud, and we keep track of all of their adventures because we have had a wide range of various different guests, and I think it's an excellent idea. Thank you for calling, Mrs. Jordan Chris Colfer. We are at 888-531-7171, and we are here with Emily and Samantha, who are YouTubers, and they have their own YouTube. We're going to jump into questions, and if you want to go to Samantha and Emily's YouTube, it's called Legally Blondes. I actually just typed in Legally Blondes, and it was pretty much the fourth or fifth search result down on YouTube, so you can actually, I was thinking I might not find them because those are two common words, but it's not that difficult to find them just by typing in Legally Blondes. And because they've been getting a lot of hits on their videos, and their videos are very creative, very fun, and very funny. So I definitely recommend that everyone subscribe. And we also have a float up in the app, which we'll keep for the next week going. Question from Anonymous. Wheezy, my brother is abusive. He constantly hurts me. He takes my phone and looks through it, and if I put a passcode on it, he will hurt me till I tell him. Not only is he physically abusive, but he is also verbally. He's also making references to my weight, i.e. hippo, walrus, elephant, rhino, and telling me he doesn't care about me. It makes me really upset because I look up to him, and he is my favorite sibling, but I'm afraid one day he might snap and kill me. What do I do? So before I throw to panel, I want to just say that once kids learn the term abusive, is it possible that they throw it out there when it's simply sibling rivalry? Like, what is the defining line between an abusive sibling and just sibling rivalry? What were you guys thinking when I read this, Ryan?
I mean, it's definitely a word that always sounds really strong, but
Yeah.
I think that it was one of those things where it's kind of like, if it's for a weird, like, if they're doing it because they can't help it, it's kind of abusive. If they're an angry person, it's kind of abusive. But if they do it, like, to kind of taunt you and play with you a little bit, even if it's a mean way, that's more sibling rivalry. I'm not sure if that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But, so I think that's kind of the fine line. Montana?
Yeah, it depends in this, I think, about, like, is he hurting her to the point of, like he's just, like, play slapping her, or,
Right.
like, he punched her and, like, she broke her nose or something.
Right.
And, not to, like, make it, like, downgrade it at all, but I do think a lot of people, once they learn the word abusive, some people will take it and be like, oh, you're being abusive to me, when it's really just something that they can handle on them by themselves. I feel like abusive is something where you need to, like, it's something really serious that could potentially hurt somebody, and if it's actually abusive, you should get your parents involved and be like, make sure he doesn't kill me at some point. Because if she's legit worried about that, like, that's what really worried me.
Yeah, those were really strong words. Nico?
What I was thinking at first was that, well, I live with my little brother. We constantly get into fights, but we still love each other. I was thinking maybe this isn't, like, that big of a deal. When she started talking about worrying that he'll snap and kill her is where I started worrying a bit. Not a little bit for is he actually being abusive, and a little bit for is she taking this too far? Like, is she talking about this to a point where she's describing her brother when it's really just someone being tired of living with someone for a while? I mean, what do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, that was also kind of what I thought about when I first read that. That part kind of hit me hard, and I was thinking, does he have like a mental instability, or is she just taking it to a new level? And if it was with my brother, I would never be worried that my brother was going to kill me. We fight sometimes, but at the same time, I don't look at it the same way that she seems to be looking at the situation. So I kind of don't have enough information about it to really see what it looks like.
Well, what about the factor that, like, if he's a boy and he's older, there's a point at which once you're kind of like the size of you guys, you really need to stop being physical with a younger sister. What were you going to say, Sam?
Yeah, this is a situation where parents definitely need to be involved and boundaries definitely need to be set, because any older sibling or any person can be really, really hurtful. So, this is definitely a situation where action needs to be taken.
And he may be new to his own strength, to where this could have been okay when they were 8 and 6, and now it's really not. Nico, what were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. I was just trying to...
But if you were going to talk...
If I was going to talk, I'd say it does get hard to live with a sibling, especially, but you really have to learn, and this is for all the older siblings out there, too, to really learn to control yourself and handle your own strength. You got to exercise some patience.
Samantha, you have an older brother. At what point did you guys stop roughhousing where he realized, okay, I'm kind of a man and she's a little girl?
We were never very physical. It was more just yelling at each other. We never were punching, things like that. I mean, there was the occasional kind of hit, but it was never anything serious that needed to get resolved in any way. And by the time he was probably 16 and I was 12, we stopped touching at all. There was no slapping or anything like that ever.
Did you remember each other's names?
We actually are really close, so we don't fight as much. But yeah, I think if it's a problem about abuse, then action should definitely be taken. But if it's just siblings yelling at each other, I think it's a stage you grow out of things like that. And I think pretty much everyone with a sibling has been through something like that.
Yes, I agree. I have 3 of them. I tried to get my brother to eat grass because I thought it was funny, and then he threw up. So, not funny. Jamie's here. Jamie Elcroft is here, who's one of my favorite comedians, and he has raised 3 children. Yes, and all of them are fantastic.
Feeding your brother grass, you figured he'd give better milk that way, right?
I was hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful. Maybe a cheese.
Yeah.
Something like that. Hey, sometimes, in my experience with my kids, this kid sounds like he might be asking for attention from his sister, because sometimes that comes into play, where especially if he's physically abusive.
Yeah.
Very often they want attention, and maybe the sister isn't displaying her love for him enough.
I mean, I think that comes up often, and what I often tell kids who are in the middle of these sibling rivalry situations is that the last thing you feel like doing is saying, hey, your hair looks really cool that way, or, you have a really good singing voice. Like, the last thing you feel like doing is complimenting this horrible person. But actually, it really diffuses a lot of the tension, because almost all sibling rivalry can be traced to the root of competition for parental love and attention. You don't always realize it because you're just in the middle of hating this person. But turn around and love them, and you'd be just amazed. Ryan?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of I don't fight with my brother all that much, but when we used to, a lot of it kind of stemmed from me not feeling like he cared about me. So he would passively kind of be mean to me, which would just be ignoring me and not paying attention. And then he'd ask me for a favor, and I'd be like, well, you don't care about me. Why should I care about you? And that's how the argument would start. So sometimes you might not notice it, but you might not be showing enough affection for him. The one piece of advice based on what I do know from this question is get your parents involved and ask if you can just get a lock on the door to your room if you have a separate room. After that, it kind of depends on how severe the circumstance actually is.
And I don't think that you should allow him to bully you into changing your passcode. Like, certain boundaries do need to be set, as Sam said. He doesn't get access to your devices, and that's just, you would do the same for him.
Well, but if he's hurting you, you kind of at that point...
But that's like negotiating with a terrorist.
Right, but it's not easy to do. I'm saying, if that isn't getting solved, she's going to give up her phone and her passcode if he's hitting her, right? Doesn't
Well,
that mean?
I think what happens is if there's a certain din in the household, the parents are just like, I can't, you know. But like once the point where like there's physical violence, then you really need to say in a calm moment, Mom, Dad, you know, I'm worried about Nathan.
Okay,
He's getting kind of rough. Like, but say it in a moment where things aren't crazy. It's like say it in a calm moment. We are Our Place Out Loud. I am Louise Palanker. We're here with a wonderful guest. We've got Jamie Elcroft in the studio. We've got Vicki Abelson, who's a very famous person who runs the Women Who Write salon, of which I am a proud member. We are at 888-531-7171. Give us a call. And we've got Samantha and Emily that you can find on YouTube. They are the YouTube channel Legally Blondes. And right now we're going to talk about Robin Williams because this is what everyone is thinking about. And I'm just going to read something that I posted in the app because I really felt like this is something that needs to be discussed because we're all very traumatized in the moment. And we really, when something like this happens, I think we're stronger when we convene and discuss. So this is what I wrote in the app. I would like to open up a discussion about mental illness, depression, addiction, and Robin Williams. I think it's important for us to recognize that Robin died of depression. We all know that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. How could Robin have reached out for help? What had he already tried? Why do you believe he felt hopeless when to us it looked like he had everything? We need to talk about this because, of course, we will always idolize Robin, but it's very important that you kids do not see what he did as a way out of your troubles. We are all watching the world mourn, but it goes beyond mourning. Don't we also ache because this did not have to happen? Don't we wish he knew how much we wanted him to live? What are your thoughts? So I know that it sounds, when someone is not depressed, it almost sounds futile to talk about depression because I don't know what he was feeling. So yes, to the world it looked like this is a man that had absolutely everything. He was handsome, he was talented, he was successful, everyone loved him, he had children. But that doesn't explain depression. Nothing explains depression. Ryan?
I mean, I can speak from personal experience, having been depressed at one point in my life and extremely depressed and considering suicide. The logic behind it for me, I mean, I guess I can't call it logic, but the reason behind it for me was that it wasn't that I wanted to die, it was just that I didn't want to be alive. So it wasn't that death was appealing, it's just that being alive was awful. So if that makes sense.
You didn't want to feel what you were feeling.
Exactly.
Can you describe what you were feeling?
Not really. I mean, there's not really words for it. It was just everything was awful. The best things were the worst things. You know, it just didn't make sense. Nothing was good.
And what helped?
Well, I went to boarding school for a therapeutic boarding school, so that was basically what kind of changed me. I can't speak in terms of people who don't go through that experience, but for me, that made the difference. So sometimes I guess accepting help is the best way to get that help because you can't change if you're not open to it.
Montana?
Actually, earlier today, me and one of my friends who also went through like a really heavy depression this year were talking about this, and she was completely floored by this because this is she attempted suicide, and she's comfortable with me saying this if this is going to open up a discussion and like help, but she this is the first time she like had to hear about somebody else committing suicide and what it would have been like, and she was thinking like, oh my god, what would have been like if I had did that, or blah 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 blah. And we both got to this point where we're like, well, why did he do that? It seemed like he had everything. But we were talking about like with depression, it doesn't involve a lot of logic. You just, when you have like the pills or whatever in front of you, your main goal is like not like what's my family gonna think, what are my friends gonna think, not what are my fans gonna think. It's like, how do I make this stop? And that's often the only way out. And for her, luckily she was rushed to the hospital, and so she's recovering now. But like Ryan said, I think just accepting help or even reaching out for help, which is incredibly hard if you're in a situation like this and you don't believe anything's gonna help. But just by accepting some sort of help from your family or whoever is going to make all the difference, really, because that's the reason why she's alive.
And if I can add on kind of what you were saying about not really the appeal, but the reason that it happens is when you see something, like you were saying pills, it's kind of just like, it's as simple as eating that. You know, it's just like, once that's done, this is all done, and that seems appealing. But what I would say to parents, if you're watching or if there are people who know people, you have to force the help on people. I know that sounds bad because it's not always good to force help on people, but you have to force it. It was forced on me when I first was like going through it, and if it hadn't been forced on me, I wouldn't be here. And it's just because I wasn't going to ask for the help, but people who saw that I needed it forced it on me. So you got to force it, no matter how painful it is.
On a child, you can do that, but on adults,
Yeah.
if you are a friend of Robin and you're holding on to any guilt, please let that go, because
With adults, it's a totally different situation.
It is our responsibility to say something when we hear someone mention suicide, especially if that person is a child. But we can't save another person from these types of thoughts. Every person has free will, and you just have to encourage someone that there always is a solution. And the solution is to get help and medication. We live in a time where depression can be addressed better than any other time in history. And people have always been depressed throughout history, but now there are medications that address it. And it's, as Vicky was talking to me before the show, that it's a cocktail. You have to balance the person based on their moods this month. And if you suffer from depression or bipolar disorder or one of these mood disorders, you can't just be complacent about it. It's like diabetes. It has to be continuously managed. We've got a phone call. Who's there?
Hi.
Hi, who's this?
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay, I guess.
Okay, how did you receive the Robin Williams news?
I love him. He's probably one of my favorite actors, and I took it. I was just like, well, how did he die and stuff? And then I found out it was suicide. I was like, you wouldn't guess he was a person who was depressed, but then again, you can actually, from me perspective, because I have depression, I can actually understand, because sometimes some of the most happiest people can be some of the most depressed people.
Right, the face that you put on when you go outside is the face you put on. But I'm concerned specifically about you because I know that you have struggled with some of these issues. So when you see a famous person like this who's taken his life, does that make you feel like you really need to, like you really want to address this because you want to be strong and you want to learn from what happened? Or, does it make you just feel I guess the thing that I'm afraid to say out loud, but I think that I need to say, is I don't want this romanticized.
Yeah. I see it as more of this happens just like an outcry, like people shouldn't really stereotype depression because it can be anybody. You never know, and that's what people, I think, are starting to realize with me is I might sound like in real life people see me as really happy and really just like outgoing because I don't really want people to know that I'm depressed.
But why not? I mean, you walk down the hallway in school and at least 1 in 10 kids is probably depressed.
Yeah.
It's pretty common.
Yeah.
So what? So there's no shame. That should be the last thing that's attached to this. Shame should be the last thing that's attached to this.
But you don't want to remember it. That's the thing. I think the more you can forget you're depressed, the easier it is to deal with it, at least for the short term. So, like,
you mean
it's one
just
of the,
to get you through the day?
Yeah, when you're walking through the hall, if you don't have to think about it, you don't have to deal with it.
But did it help you, Ryan, to know that you weren't alone and that other people had faced this?
Eventually, but at the beginning, or even through like the main course of it, it was just kind of your situation's different. You don't understand, and everyone's situation is different, but they do understand. That's the difference.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Well, my depression has got to the point where in a couple days I'm going to residential therapy.
You are going to residential?
Well, that's exactly what
Good.
That's what I had.
Good for you. I'm happy to hear that. That's very it's very heroic, and I'm very proud of you.
My mom couldn't happen last night, and so she called him and said that I'm going to residential. But I think I'm scared, but I'm happy at the same time because I know I've needed residential for about a year now, and she finally kind of realized that I needed it.
She did. I'm good. I'm glad. Sam has something for you.
I just want to recognize your strength because I know it took me a really long time to acknowledge the fact that I had depression. So I think what you're doing is a great thing and that you're getting help. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself.
And for everyone who has yet to meet you, I mean, you have to think of your life as a gift. And there are people who have not yet encountered you who are going to be blessed by that encounter. And you really have to think about what it is that you're here to do and on your life journey. And it's not always, every day is not easy. Every day is not easy. Some days are wonderful, some days are challenging. But your life is a gift, and it's a gift that you share. Ryan?
Just because I can't go on and talk about this specific circumstance forever on the podcast. If you want to reach out to me in the app and message me like on the in the like little hallmate chatter, I can give you some pointers about what helped me with residential therapy because that was because I went pretty much through, I assume, a similar thing to what you're going to be going through. So you can reach me at RyeGuy, and I just have to download the app because I got a replacement phone. But I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you so much for calling in, Space Ghost, and we want to hear how everything's going. We're always thinking about you. You're in our hearts always. Okay, honey?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Love you.
We love you. 888-531-7171 is the number. We're going to go on to the next. What's that, Howard?
I wanted to make a quick
Howard
comment
wants
about you said you can't, the kids you can do something about, and adults too.
5150 for adults?
The old 5150, which means if you hear anybody say they want to harm themselves or someone else, it's not a joke, it's not a drill, it's 911. And when they say it in front of a first responder, they're gone for 3 days. And that's good. Sometimes they keep them for 7. But you've got to call 911. If somebody's, it's not a joke. If you think they're joking, they're not. Just do it. The 911 guys don't care when they show up. If they'll assess the situation, and they will, in fact, get them to say what they need them to say, and that is they want to harm themselves or someone else, and off they go. So that is something to really keep in mind. If somebody near you, close to you, is threatening, you've got to get them help right away.
And off they go to get help. It's not to a bad place. It's
a good place.
Exactly.
They're not going to jail.
Exactly.
They're not. No. They're going to the hospital.
Right.
And the process can begin with the first 3 days.
Which is why if you are mad, angry, upset, frustrated, say those words. Don't say, I want to kill myself. Because when you say those words, you're going away for 3 days or 7 days.
It's real. It's not a joke.
So please, if you're in the app or if you're in your real life and you're just really upset with a situation, do not use those words. Those words are like a loaded gun, and they will be handled like a loaded gun. You will be going away. And I can't even talk to you in the app when you open up with that. If you need a hug, ask for a hug. If you need love, ask for love. Please don't say that, because I'm going to assume that you mean it and refer you to a helpline, because we're about saving lives. That's job one. That has to happen before we can really address any of the other underlying stuff that's really going on. So please don't say that. And if you do need to say that, don't go on to Our Place. Just go on to Our Place to find a helpline and call one of the helplines, because you only need to say, this is what I'm feeling. And you would be surprised at how quickly help will be at your doorstep. Nobody wants to see a child suffer. Nobody. Even if it feels like in your own household, nobody cares. That's just because your parents are not able to handle life. It's whatever's going on in your household is not what goes on in the world. Sometimes all it is like even saying to a teacher, I really need to talk to somebody. And you would be absolutely amazed at how many people want to help you as soon as they know that that's what your situation is. We are at 888-531-7171. And Wallflower has a question. Ryan, you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Hi, Wheezy. I think I might really like my best friend, but he has a girlfriend, and I respect that, and not trying to be any more than his best friend. But she doesn't treat him like I would treat him, and she doesn't call him at all, and she puts her friends before him. This sounds like a Taylor Swift song. As I would put him with my friends and treat him how you're supposed to treat someone you care about. But of course, he doesn't see how she is. how do I handle this? What should I do? This is a
Question:
Taylor
is
Swift song.
she in the bleachers with sneakers?
Yeah, no, she wears short
thought so.
short skirts.
Does she wear
that was too
t-shirts
difficult.
or-
High heels. Yeah, that's yeah.
So it's kind of a common scenario because Taylor wrote about it, and we always feel like when the guy or the girl that we like is with someone that doesn't deserve them, that we'd be so much better. But there's really no explaining love, is there, Nico?
Oh no, there isn't. It's very common.
Nico, the love guru.
Oh yeah, love guru right here. None of you guys are gonna help. So, in this kind of situation, when they've been dating for a while now, it's very easy to feel like they could be taking advantage of the other person. Like they're not calling them enough. They're not putting them in front of their friends enough. And that's a very common thing. If you really feel like this is a serious thing and not just like your jealousy, you need to talk to your best friend. You don't need to meddle, is what Sam was talking about a lot pre-show. You don't need to meddle in his relationship. You need to talk to him and worry that he may not be getting the girl he deserves.
Yeah,
but
and
also that doesn't particularly mean you should be replacing her.
No. Don't go in there thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to be your girl now. Yo, I'm good here. Be like what Sam's talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
With the relationships, you don't, as an outsider, you don't 100% understand the dynamic, especially if you're a best friend. You think you know your best friend better than anybody else. But a relationship is very complicated. So if you're having feelings about your best friend who's in a relationship, you need to walk a very fine line if you're considering meddling, which I hate that word, but meddling. If you're having some concerns, you need to walk a fine line, but you do realize this person cares for another person, and you just need to show concern.
And there's also a thing about, like, your agenda is not pure. Your agenda is, I like him. And so you're not just this sort of, like, impartial bystander going, I really think that you should be dating. You have your own needs in the situation. So you should just be, saying to him, look, the truth is, I like you. So I'm never going to really be giving you objective feedback. Ryan?
Also, just the gray area between like best friend and significant other is really awkward.
Oh,
so
yeah.
just like stay away from that if you can. I'm not saying don't go for anything if the opportunity presents itself, but if you put yourself in that situation when it's not there, you're kind of like stuck in a really weird, awkward place. Emily?
Yeah, I just think that like I tend to get feelings from my close friends, and a lot of times you have to like step back and realize that the friendship is also more important than a potential relationship.
Exactly.
And if you start to like act on those feelings, and you could ruin the friendship, and then you don't even get the relationship, it's like worse than what you had before.
That's kind of what I was talking about. That's like that explained it really well.
Yeah.
Good advice from a blonde. Wow. I'm just joking.
Legally.
So yeah, you said the agenda was not pure because it's like your feelings are involved in this too. I think you need to make, or not you specifically, I was talking the second person. She needs to make her agenda more like she cares about this guy, so ultimately she wants him to be happy, and she needs to put her feelings second. So I think it's okay if the girlfriend is actually really awful to be like, maybe you should handle this a little bit differently and tell your girlfriend that you can't talk to me like that. But
you just need to be a friend.
Be a friend. But like, if you're like, I like you and you should break up with her for me, he's just gonna see that as a betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if it's meant to be between you two, he'll realize, oh, my girlfriend sucks, I should be with my best friend who was there for me the whole time. If it's not meant to be, just don't mess with it.
You should watch a lot of John Hughes movies because it's cathartic to have you be the one who gets the guy, at least in the movie.
I like how all the old people started laughing.
Yeah, I was considering just courtesy laughing, and then
You're not
no
old.
one else on the panel laughed. So.
No, you're not old.
I mean, let's be real. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
maybe
Credit to the young
older.
kids. Okay, all that stuff is on Netflix now.
Except for Howard,
It's
he's
really
like
good.
20.
They're really good movies, especially one where there's a girl who's a drummer who's in love with Eric Stoltz. That's a really good one. What's it called? Someone look it up. We are at 888-531-7171.
Someone who's not us because we can't use the internet.
Oh, yeah, we can't use the internet. So Nico was begging me to read this question. This is...
Oh, and I have a clarification, like a definition to go with it.
This is a prize-winning question because I actually think it's legit, and I'm scared. Okay. Terrible Tiger? Go ahead, Nico.
Oh, you cut out a lot of it, though. Oh, I'm sad
I
about that.
had to because it really got funky.
Yeah, it got real funky.
You can allude to where it went.
And I've
All
got
right.
the definition with it, so.
Okay. It got sexual. Yeah.
Okay, guys, my it's my time to shine.
It's always your time, Nico.
Oh yeah. I recently cut my spiritual cord that was attaching me with my boyfriend from a healing, which yesterday I honestly don't feel any different and still want to be with him. Do you know anything about this? When she cut it, did it change him only? Did it make him leave for good? He's not talking to me, and I fear he won't, because we got in a fight, and he called me a slut, and told me harsh things, and I got a water ball and poured it in him when he was driving, and he got soda and poured it in me. I then got the soda bottle and threw it at him, and he started bleeding from the temple. I feel awful, but at the same time mad that he shouldn't mess with me.
Then she went on to describe their sexual relationship and that she was using the morning after pill as a form of birth control.
He was getting mad.
Was she trying?
He was
Yeah.
getting mad that she wouldn't use it for him because she used it for other guys before him, and she was mad because she wanted a kid way before it got bad.
And
These
so,
people should not be breeding.
well, and Nico and I looked
That
up what
and also morning after pill is only like 80% effective.
All right,
you
so
might have like 20% of a kid.
the point
Yeah.
is,
You're gonna have a hand and like an ear.
our place.
But
So look, she
Nico-
went to a healing witch. Let's not, please, let's not gloss over this.
Yeah,
We
Nico
think
and I
she's-
looked this up.
She
she's
had her
definitely-
spiritual cord cut by a healing witch.
Spiritual umbilical cord, and
So
it was a voodoo
Ryan
witch.
did some research.
Right, so Nico and I looked this up before the show, and this is what we got. Cords are made of astral and etheric energy and connect two people's subtle bodies. They stretch between two... I can't take this seriously, I'm sorry. They stretch between two people very much like an umbilical cord and transfer emotional energy and chi between the two. It does not matter how far away the other person is, as the cord is not a physical substance, and distance is irrelevant, so it is still effective from the other side of the planet.
So
Just
the
like
thing that
birth
was
control.
the most adorable was that she thought I would know the answer. Does this just affect him, or should it also be affecting me?
Wheezy, for the umbilical cord to be cut between me and my boyfriend, do you think that affects it in any way?
Can we
Go ahead,
just say
Sam.
this is a spiritual cord, not a physical cord?
Right.
So if you're still physically with him, that has nothing to do with the spiritual cord. Let's just clarify.
But how much did she pay to have this procedure?
I can
and,
do that.
And can she get a full refund? It's insured. But see, two people that are throwing things at each other and making each other bleed should not be having sex and making babies.
Not a healthy relationship.
Or even close to each other.
So before you go to any spiritual healer or whatever, look inside yourself and say, am I inviting and attracting positive people into my life and positive energy in the way that I'm behaving, handling stress, dealing with adversity, and experiencing the world? Is that a healthy, whatever I'm doing, is it healthy behavior, and is it inviting healthy energy around me? Because I think you can figure that out without going to a spiritual witch. Go ahead, Montana.
Okay, so I think her question was kind of like, how do I cut the cord myself, because it didn't really
Oh, you
work?
think we should actually answer her question?
Oh. Y'all shouldn't be breeding.
Yes,
Just
go ahead,
saying.
go ahead.
But
yes.
other than that, like, the way normal people cut the cord
Right.
is you break up.
Goodbye.
You throw them out of your life. You burn some pictures. You listen to some Taylor Swift. You eat some ice cream, and then you rebound.
You watch a John Hughes movie.
You watch a John Hughes movie.
Don't forget about Kelly
Now-
Clarkson.
because you can't. This guy can't call you. Like, I hate
And
this,
like
the SL word. I hate it. It shouldn't exist. It's
No,
not
no.
a thing.
at the same time, y'all shouldn't like be throwing things at each other.
No.
Like,
So
are you
he's-
5? And if you're 5, you should still not be breeding.
We're going to a healing witch of all things.
Anyway, you look at this, Ryan.
When did you start saying y'all?
Happens when I get mad.
No, I was going to say, like, yeah, as much as we totally discounted your question, and I, like most of us, aren't kind of on the same page believing in that stuff. Some people do, and I'll respect that. And just going to say that if that didn't work, you should try and do something a little more upfront and just say, like, this isn't okay, and I need you to stop or be out of my life, but more likely be out of my life. And if that witch doctor asks for any of your credit card information or social security number, you need to change that.
I would go at it from. I would try going at it from our perspective because I don't think your perspective is working. Instead of like voodoo witch stuff, like instead of like poking a doll of him or anything, I would try
Or
just
throwing bottles at a doll's temple.
Oh yeah, that would be bad too. I would try really examining the situation. Look at if you are happy or not, if the situation is salvageable, and from what you're telling us right now, it is not.
And you were driving, like that's dangerous.
That's
like that's
so
a whole
dangerous.
nother level of danger.
Don't pour water in people while they're driving.
I think she meant to say on.
She meant on.
No, she wrote in.
She wrote in. Okay.
But the other thing is that the part that we didn't really get to, but I kind of want to touch on.
Okay.
It's not going to get like too in detail, but like before you start having sex with this guy, you need to talk about like, I want a baby. Do you want a baby? If you
Right.
don't want a baby because we're both teenagers, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. It needs to be clear, and there needs to be some precaution just for like, I mean, you're teenagers.
Well, I didn't know their age, and also when, when
I'm
she
sorry, I
wrote
assumed.
that part, I didn't really understand what was happening.
I did not think she was an
So
adult.
that's why I deleted it. But yes, if you're going to be sexually active, you really need to be
It really needs to be like, it's not just you, it's the both of you.
right.
He's involved in this, like, legally. If she had a kid, he
Right.
would be responsible for child support and
And you would be bringing a baby into a family
where they
where
throw
parents
bottles.
throw
That's what I was
things
about
at
to
each
say.
other.
It's a big deal when you raise a person. That's like
It's
there's
a
another
it's a
person in the
whole
environment.
person, and you can't have a child ever hear a man call a woman that name. It's just
That's
it's just vile.
absolutely
It's not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
And when men use it because they're jealous or angry or hurt because they feel betrayed because the person maybe had sex with another person before she met me, that you just can't use that word. It's so abusive, and it's horrible when women use it on other women. It's slut shaming. You're a prude if you've never kissed anyone, and you're a slut if you've kissed someone. And when men use it, it's especially abhorrent, in my opinion, because it's almost like they want to claim ownership of you. And
Yeah.
if you're having sex with me, you're awesome. But if you've ever had sex with anyone else, you're a slut.
Yeah.
Excuse me? Ugh. Just hate it. So you don't ever have to listen to that word come out of the mouth of a man who claims to love you, ever. And I would say that those are grounds for dismissal of this dude, witch doctor or not.
Yeah.
Give us a call at 888-531-7171. Mini Thread Theater, Style Search. And we were going to get to this last week, but we had a really good Thread Theater. We were talking about marijuana and addiction. So let's just go around the room, or did you guys already divvy up parts?
We haven't divvied anything.
Oh,
up.
I know you
I'll
want to
be
be Kitty
Kitty Cat,
Cat,
I
Ryan.
guess.
I know you want to be Kitty Cat.
I mean, you know.
All right. So Thread Theater, curtain up, Mini Thread Theater, Style Search, Kitty Cat.
I'm not really sure how you guys would be able to help me here, but I'm trying to figure out my style, and I can't figure it out. I enjoy the athletic style, but then I also like the hip-hop and the hipster style as well. I can't decide.
Rhodey K, you want to be Rhodey, Montana?
Oh yeah, you get to be roadie.
Yay.
You don't have to pick one predetermined style to like. It's totally up to you how to dress. So you could wear one sort of style one day and one the next, or even combine bits and pieces of different styles to make outfits that you're happy with. Wear whatever makes you feel the best about yourself.
Kitty Cat? Ryan?
Sorry.
Wake up!
Sorry. I was giving thought
You're
to
in a
what I would
play.
say about this. I'm not an actor. Thank you so much, Happy Face. Was it necessary that I say that?
Yes, because it made me happy. Anna Elaine.
I always love hipster. Try pulling the crop tops, high-waisted skirts, jeans, rompers, and long sweaters.
What are rompers?
rompers?
That doesn't help me.
that doesn't help, Montana.
Use your words.
Like seriously, that doesn't help.
They're like overalls, but different with
Is that
designs and
is that a
it's a
not over-
jumpsuit?
Oh, those things?
that little German kids wear.
maybe even a hippie
You
headband?
mean lederhosen?
Yeah, but like on shirt.
You want to
Use the microphone, Montana.
I'm just going to look this up on my phone. They're called rompers.
It's like
All
a
right.
lederhosen with a
Rompers,
short
look it
bit.
up. Let's get a picture of this online, Jake. Yeah, sure, why not? Look up rompers. And long sweater. Keep going, Nico. Did you finish?
She stole my mic.
Oh.
Maybe even a hippie headband. Athletic, just check out Nike. There's plenty there. Hip hop style.
those things. Sorry.
God dang it. Hip hop style. There's new jogger pants that are in style. Maybe try those and have a off-shoulder top. Those are just some ideas. I say try them all.
Jogger pants are not new. Let me just throw that out there. Sweatpants are not new.
Where
Off
yoga
the
pants
shoulder.
are
What
awesome.
are we in, like the 70s aerobic video?
You don't
I'm
have
sure it's
you don't have to have one designated style, guys. Stop stealing my lines.
Our place has to have a style thing where we just talk about what's in style and what's not.
Add something funky and new to the mix each day. All right, finally got through it.
Ladies
Oh, I
and
thought you were
guys,
done.
do not make fun of us. Ladies, we are talking about style. So
You can talk about style.
do you remember
Can guys talk about style?
getting to that age where you felt like you had to have a defined style? I don't remember getting there. I'm still looking forward to it.
I'm still getting there as
Montana.
Mine was so bad. As I don't know when we're going to show the middle school pictures, but
Oh.
okay. Oh, did I bring
Did
that
I give
up
you the thumb
at a
drive,
bad
Jakey?
point?
Or did I get too distracted? Can someone go into my office and look for a... oh, there. No, it's not.
Thank you for
Jamie,
reminding
you're
her,
awesome, but
Montana.
that's not the correct thumb drive. It's a white one, and it should be... it could be, like, in the... behind my computer, like, still plugged in.
And maybe we'll do it one more time when other people send theirs in, because I know I can find better
Yeah.
pictures of me. Like
Yeah, me
worse,
too.
worse, better. Like
Yeah, we can do it next week.
Me
yeah.
too, because my mom sent the nice pictures, but I went through a bunch of weird different phases. So in like the beginning of 6th grade, I was all like girly and blah blah blah, and then 7th grade happened and my hair got different, and then everybody thought I was a boy because I cut it really short and I was like emo style. And then 9th grade, I tried to get white girl dreadlocks. Don't ever do it. They're so gross, so dirty.
What are white girl dreadlocks?
Dreadlocks being a white girl.
Got it.
Like no dreadlocks, like legit dreadlocks. You
don't they just end up being long cornrows? That's what it looks like.
No, it's not long cornrows. It's you don't wash your hair and then you do this.
So it's just gross.
It's disgusting. And then my friend got really mad and held me down and brushed my hair forcibly.
That's awesome.
And ripped them out
That's a
of
good
my
one.
head at school. So if I have any
that's
advice
abusive.
to ever give you, never get dreadlocks that are just dirty. If you're gonna do them right. Go to like a person who knows how to do
Ask
them.
Keo about that because
But
he had some really
ask
cool
Keo.
dreadlocks.
Why
Well,
can't
his
she
were
just
cool.
get jumpers?
She can get jumpers.
Okay.
But no dreadlocks.
Oh, wait, are jumpers and rompers the same thing?
Oh, rompers. What? Sorry.
No, aren't they the same thing?
Oh, wait, romper.
Hippie headband. I think a hippie headband dresses up any outfit. That's the one fashion
If you
tip
got
I'm
the
doing.
without
sweatpants
doing
and the
anything
rompers
specific.
and the
Oh, yeah.
hippie headband.
Is
Have
there
a style.
Is there a camera on Vicky? Because Vicky can talk style.
Well,
Vicky has a stylist.
well, I do have a stylist.
Yeah.
But this, and actually, he was the one who got me to start wearing feathers. But I've tried all the different various looks and here in midlife and old age, I discovered that I had a style, and I'm kind of known for my feathers, and I've been wearing them for years.
Samantha, are you okay with
now
this?
I can't not wear feathers because it's kind of the expectation. So I have to keep it up. So that's kind of my thing.
All right, well, we're going to do middle school pictures next week because I didn't remember to bring the jump drive into this room, and there was just too much going on
The
this week.
romper
And that
drive.
gives you, Montana, and you, Samantha.
I got it though. I got one.
Oh, you found one? Okay, cool.
Wait,
That
so is
gives-
it just going to be a picture of me then?
No, I
If we
have.
had done it this week.
In fact, there's a whole montage in there called Sporty Squad Jake.
Oh,
And-
I have one of his baseball cards from when
Yeah.
he was in like
Oh, yeah.
what grade? Like
Oh, he-
third. It's a
That's-
baseball card with
Oh,
him
yeah.
on it.
That's
And
His athletic history is rich and deep. And it's been documented.
Jake, you had potential. Potential. Could have been playing D1 sports.
So next week, look forward to Sporty Squad Jake because it is something to behold.
Okay, wait.
He's got some splaining to do.
As far as style goes, I think the guy should also have input on style because.
Okay, go ahead.
So first off, I judge people so much for their style. Not like I judge them like if it looks good or not, but I totally think I know what you're like based on how you dress because that's just how I am. So like if I see guys who are wearing like skinny jeans and like Jordans with the laces undone and like a snapback, I just don't want to talk to you. So
Excuse me.
and so that kind of thing, and then also like, but just still dress however you want. Just because there's judgmental people like me doesn't mean you shouldn't want to like dress the way you like best. Because you still could be really nice. I don't know, Nico, do you have a take on it?
I don't know. I felt like during the summer I came here with like kind of a weird look every week. Like last time I came here with a beach bum sort of thing.
I
was
did
told.
notice that you were wearing like were you wearing a tank top last week? And,
Yeah,
like,
I was
board
wearing a
shorts
tank
and-
top and the shorts and this. I had my sick goatee that I had to shave for a Catholic school. God, I'm pissed.
No, gosh, I am pissed.
Gosh, I am pissed.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Emily. And really, we all went through those weird phases. Like when I was in elementary school, I literally always wore a hat. Like there was not a time my teachers couldn't get me to take it off.
There was this kid in middle school named Owen, and he would wear Jake's going to appreciate this, but he would wear a hat every single day, and it became a thing where every guy in our school was pretty much in on taking off his hat, just taking it off because none of us really knew what he looked like without a hat because it was just like glued to his head. So that became like a thing that every day we'd try and take off his hat. And I always just kind of went through the like whatever the first two things on in my drawer is what I wear. I still kind of do that. Like so that's why I wear the same stuff over and over because it gets washed and then put on the top of the drawer and then I pick it back up.
So my style today is kind of limited because I'm starting to wear my uniform again. I know all you ladies love men in uniform.
Pop in the
so,
collar.
you know.
Pop in the collar.
So when you have limited options like this, you really got to work with what you can. So I just unbutton everything.
You should make that into a crop top.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Here we
And
go.
what I do is I wear like a zip up jacket, like kind of down to here, just below the.
Oh, that's I do that.
Yeah, and then I'll have like a little necklace or something. So it's a lot of flash and stuff. It's a lot of style.
A lot of bling. Get the brass knuckles.
I need
in
the
there.
YouTubers to weigh in on style. Do you guys kind of confer with each other?
Oh, sorry,
or
let me do my duck face.
What are you going to wear, or do you each?
Okay, Nico, you can stop.
Do you
No,
have a
please
sense of
stop.
style that you believe, that you like, that you feel comfortable, makes you feel like you?
I've always tried
Change
to
the camera.
establish a style. I've always thought, okay, this is going to be what I wear forever. I'm going to have this kind of style. But I'd go shopping and realize that I like something else on me and something else. And my closet is basically just anything that makes me feel confident. There's no real style in my closet. And I think that Emily and I kind of agree on that. We were both just whatever we like is what we buy.
My worst fashion thing was when I was in 4th grade. I loved the gaucho pants that were they flared out at the bottoms.
Yes.
And, I wore
Oh, I
those
know what you're
every
talking
day,
about.
and that's the only pants I wore. So I think it's better now that I don't wear those.
Well, it's important that you establish photographs of yourself today that will mortify you in years to come.
I'm
And
still
that's
making fun of
key.
my dad's mullet.
We are Our Place Out Loud. You can go to ourplacenetwork.com to watch all of the podcasts, and you can follow us on YouTube, where we are Our Place Community, or Facebook, where we are Our Place Network, Twitter, Our Place Network. And all you guys have been hashtagging and tweeting out about the show tonight. I'm going to get to a car question for you, Dylan. There's going to be, what is your car style, Dylan? Do you have a car style? Oh, we don't have enough time. Get it. Stand up, Dylan. You've gotten really tall. You need to stand up. By the way, where's your mother? Oh, is she? Okay. Yeah.
Are we good?
So
Are we good here?
Now, Dylan's a car guy. He's also a college boy. Now, when
I
you're
am.
a car guy, are you thinking when I rock this car, I have a cool style? Is it about how you feel and look in your car?
I'd say that to describe it in as little words as possible, my automotive style revolves completely around function. So, any modifications you're going to do to a car should be functional, 100%. And then the form follows after that.
So when you say functional, do you mean loud?
I mean, okay, for example, you'll add an aftermarket exhaust to a car because it does actually improve performance by increasing exhaust flow.
But how fast do you
And it
need
also
to go?
sounds really good.
How fast do you...
Yeah. My car is really obnoxiously loud, and a lot of people commented on it, and I'm like, it actually improves exhaust flow, so...
You should just be
There's a reason for it.
People
it's not
say,
just to be...
Dylan, your car scared the crap out of me. You should go, thank you.
There's actually a parking garage in my apartment building, and I always drive by sorority girls, and while they're doing stuff, I'll just rev it as loud as possible, and it just
I
scares
hate you
them
so much.
bad.
I love you.
You're
It's awesome.
horrible.
They just scream every single time, and all people in the car, and we'll just be like,
They're
"Oh."
totally into it.
It's great. Yeah, they love it. It's awesome.
God bless
Love
you.
it / hate it. I've set off 5 alarms.
But aftermarket, we'll talk about aftermarket. But we're going to
Okay.
take a phone call. Hello, who's on the phone?
Hi, it's Lonely Heart.
Hi, Lonely Heart. How are you? Did you like what Dylan said about loud cars? Is that the kind of guy you're looking for?
Oh yeah, totally. I love loud cars.
She's so into you. Dylan's nodding with approval. He's. I don't know. I don't know about his Facebook relationship status at the moment. It's like the barometer. You got to check it every morning. Dylan's a handsome, popular guy. What did you have, Lonely Heart?
I have news, and I have a comment about the style thing.
Okay, good. News first.
So first, my news. I am getting my first guide dog in the summer.
Really?
Nice.
Have you met him?
I am.
Him, her? Is
No.
Do you know what kind of dog it's going to be?
They said most likely it'll be a black lab.
So generally speaking, like at what age do you get a guide dog? Is it like at about your age? What usually happens?
Usually, most schools will accept you between 16 and 75.
So they want
but
you.
It really depends on your situation.
So they really want you old enough to be responsible for the dog.
Yeah.
And you're about 16?
I will be 18 when I get the dog.
Oh, you'll be 18. Okay. And has the dog been born yet?
Yes.
And then
now it's going through the puppy raising.
So describe to us the process of how you and the dog are going to learn each other.
Okay. So the dog is basically bred to be a guide dog, and then they send it to a foster home when it's about 5 or 6 weeks old. It stays there for about a year, and they just teach it basic things like sit and stay and things like that, and they, get it comfortable around other dogs. And then the guide dog schools take them back, and they train them for, usually a few months. And they have a waiting list of people looking for dogs, and they match them depending on personality and temperament and the way you walk and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when they find one, they notify you, and you come in whenever you can. And you stay there for a month, and they basically have an instructor to teach you how you and the dog will work together.
Any questions, panel? Do you have a name picked out for you?
No, but I just had a comment. I was when I had my internship, one of the guys I was working with had a guide dog, and I was in awe of how impressive and well they worked together. I mean, if he dropped anything, the dog would pick it up for him and hand it to him. And I mean, we were in a baseball stadium on game days, and the dog wasn't distracted by anything. It was amazing.
So what's going to happen is all of your
it's so
sighted
weird
friends are
how they
going to
don't
want
get
a dog. Like, why can't all of your sighted friends are going to be like, why can't I have a dog that picks up stuff that I drop?
Even paper. He dropped a paper, and the thing got his paw under the paper and put it in its mouth. Like, I can't get paper off the ground without folding it.
All right, and Lonely Heart, what was your second point? You also wanted to make a point about style?
Yeah, I had the worst middle school experience with style.
Oh.
It was so bad. I just went through these phases where I was all into this one band each year, and then that's all I would wear. All year, that's it.
You and me both.
Everything has their name or pictures on them.
But don't you find it so fascinating how much of our sense of self is built around music?
It really is. Music is a big part of everything.
Really
even
is.
in movies they have music.
Yeah, music kind of drives everything, and as a young kid, you get attached to music, and that becomes a part of your personality, not just the posters you put up because you like this person or you like their voice, but also just what you believe. And yeah, like that song. And Taylor Swift is a good example of just singing people's hearts out, kind of. What kind of music does everyone here like?
I personally was born to soundtracks of Broadway musicals, show tunes,
You're
all
my
the time,
girl.
every day,
Yeah.
all day, every day.
What? That's awesome. Ryan?
Well, Bruce Springsteen has been my favorite artist since I was really little, but then I also like old school rap, which doesn't really go along with that.
Why not? I mean,
Bruce Springsteen
eclecticism, is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
The more musical you are, the more eclectic your musical taste. That's my theory.
Sure. I
Yeah.
don't know what that word means.
It means if you like, liking lots of if I went through your iPod and I found opera, Springsteen, hip hop, grunge rap.
You wouldn't find two of those.
No. What do you like, Montana?
Yeah, I'm kind of that way. I kind of like everything. So lately I've been listening to a lot of soul and funk, but also bebop and rap and Rammstein. So yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, they established their own kind of genre called New Deutschland.
He's the Russian guy, right?
No,
Or they're the Russian people.
They're the old German people
German,
who
Russian, same things.
blow fire out of their mouth during concerts. The dude.
Define old.
No, they're all grandfathers, and they're really nice people. They do yoga, they're vegan, and then they go on stage and have flamethrowers and light each other on fire. That's awesome. I went to one of their concerts. It was the best concert of my life.
Nico?
Anyway.
All right. Well, I will look that up.
I'm definitely weird with my music. I fluctuate between a lot of stuff. Like sometimes I'll like a Swedish metal band, or other times I'll be like in 1920s kind of like mood of like a little ballroom singer thing. And right now, well, most of my life, this is what I was raised on. It's like some classic rock stuff. I can always just listen to that, just kind of zone out.
Yeah.
I always had this problem when I was little. Like everyone had their favorite genre of music. And the only thing I really ever listened to was like video game music. That's pretty good.
Blondes?
Well, yeah, we listen to a lot of Broadway shows too. That's our channel name is based after the musical Legally Blonde, one of our favorites. So.
Is he gay or European?
Yeah.
Just did Legally Blonde the musical.
Excellent. Well, who are you pointing to, Trish?
Depending on the time of day, the French go.
There's like a lot of people over there. Jake. Jake. No, we can go 1 minute long.
What?
Music
rock, alternative, EDM. Done.
What about Beatles? I thought you were a Beatles guy. Yeah, okay.
I like a lot of stuff, but definitely rap is the default go-to.
Do you have like aftermarket speakers?
No, when I'm in my car, I listen to my car.
That's good to close on. All right, Dylan Winters. All right, we are Our Place Out Loud. Thank you to Legally Blondes, and thank you to everyone for being here. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Later, guys.
That show flew by.
That flew by.
I felt like when...
Wandering, I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to carry. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to carry. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be